Welcome viewers to this NPTEL course on education leadership. Today we will be discussing about professional development and the reflective practitioner. Let us first discuss about what is professional development. Professional development is the continuing learning and education, continuing learning and continuing education, continuing training, etc. So, let us inspect about what is actually learning professional development and continuous professional learning development. So, professional development, it is a dynamic process. As you can see, it is a lifelong, it is a continuous process. It is a dynamic process that spans one's entire career in a profession. Does not matter in which profession you are, it spans over your entire career, starting from the preparation. The day you begin your preparations by setting the career goals that I want to be this and that, etc., in this profession or that profession. So, whenever you start your preparation for being into that profession, so from the very beginning, on the same day it begins, that is from preparation you make for a professional career. Again it continues the moment you get inducted into that profession, you enter into that job, you enter into that work profile, etc. Then induction to, again you continue throughout your life. You continue throughout your life by performing the jobs, by doing research, academics or practice in particular discipline, etc. So, the entire career, your entire career in completing, and it continues till you complete that career formally and the day and up to the date like you retire. So, it is a dynamic process. Why it is dynamic? It is ongoing, it keeps on changing, it is a continuous learning process, it is a lifelong process. You can say it is a it is like living organism, it is a dynamic process, continuously it updates itself, it changes its direction, changes its process. So, it is a continuous learning process. It is a kind of life cycle. So, it is a dynamic process that spans one's entire career in a profession, from preparation to induction to completion and retirement. So, it is a whole span of your career development. Second important factor is that successful professional development relies on the relationship. So, if you want to be successful in a particular career or a profession, you have to establish certain relationships. So, different types of relations, you have to set up the relationship with your with your work environment, with your colleagues, with your content, with your subject, with your domain knowledge, etc. So, it is a kind of relationship between individuals' work environment, in which workplace you work, be it an organization, an institution, a college, a school or a university, whatever you be your work environment. So, what is your relationship of your work environment and the role perception, that means, and the your role you have perceived, like yes, I am supposed to do this and that, and my roles and duties and responsibilities are like this. So, in a specific job environment, workplace, what are my duties and how do you perceive your roles to perform your duties, to carry on your responsibilities, etc. So, it is a kind of relationship that you establish in between your job environment, work environment, and the role perception you formulate, you draw for yourself, or you perceive, or you have been assigned to do certain things in a particular job environment. So, this picture actually shows the kind of relationship between professional development with an individual and the institution. As we can say, suppose if in any particular organization or the institution, education institution, if professional development is the nucleus or the center, if it is the center in that institution, then it has 4 pillars. As we can see, it has 4 pillars. One is institution, because every institution is definitely important, because your job environment is primarily consists of primarily consists of a part of significant component of that institution. So, institution is one of the significant pillar, and when you enter into the profession in a join in a particular institution, so you have to be very thorough about it, or you have to apprise yourself about the vision, mission, goals, objectives, type of institution, type of work they are doing. So, you have to be very familiar with, very thorough about the institutions, its goals, its objectives, etc. And moreover, at the same time, institution also, after recruiting the people, it also elaborates on it, gives it also elaborates and apprises the employees about the institutional goals, objectives, the type of works they do, and it has also got some duties. The institution has also got some duties to nurture, to groom, to develop certain competencies and capabilities among their employees and the staff. So, institution also organizes some of the programs for not only for organizational development, but teacher education programs, employee trainings, job orientation trainings, and the continuing education programs, in service trainings, all kinds of continuing education programs, by giving you the opportunity even to go outside the institution to attend some of the conferences, workshops, and seminars, etc., to deliver some lectures, to participate, all kinds of activities. So, it falls under the purview of the institution. That means how it organizes different kinds of programs, professional development programs, for the upliftment of its own employees. The second pillar, you can say, individual, because individual himself is also responsible for carrying forward his career goals, or the career plans, and to achieve certain objectives, professional objectives, and aspirations, and career plans, goals, etc. It is also partially falls under the individual's responsibilities, that individual self initiative, individual's own passion, and motivation for his own professional development. So, individual, you can say, it is another pillar, a significant pillar. And another common feature of professional development is the learning. Learning is the platform. Learning is the platform, you can say, it is the base through which the professional development programs, training programs are being conducted. Like all the time, the focus is on learning, continuous learning, development of different kinds of skills, competencies, capabilities, professional knowledge, pedagogical knowledge. So, learning is the primary focus. And again, achievement, another is that achievement, whatever you learn, or we learn in the process of professional development, we have to deliver it, we have to manifest it in our job performance, we have to manifest it through our activities, through our actions, through our performances, etc. So, achievement. So, in that endeavor, in that strive, we want to achieve something. So, So, professional development ultimately leads to achievement also. So, achievement in professional career, in career success, in the job, for achievement for the institution, achievement for fulfilling your personal career goals and objectives, etc. So, generally the term is that continuous professional development activity. CPD is a very common phenomenon in every field, be it organization, industry, or educational institution. CPD programs, activities are is a part, it's a like it's a part and parcel, or you can say very significant component of any of the organization and institution, and it must primarily focus on certain activities. What are these things? Like professional work based activity, in whichever profession you are. If you are in the teaching profession, or in a legal practice, or medical practice, or if you are an engineer, whatever profession you have taken up in your professional work space, you must get these professional training programs, or you must be engaged in the professional development activities. So, that is a professional work based activities. It has to be related to your own profession, your own job related activities. Second, personal activities outside the work. Whatever you learn, you perform, you do, you acquire within the job framework, within the workplace, or within the that means training programs situated in your institution, but sometimes or often you have to work beyond that also. So, these are these will come under the personal activities but again which again nurtures and nourish your professional excellence also. Like when you do on some of the personal assignments, projects, publication, research, action research, whatever you do beyond that hours, working hours, so then it comes under the personal activities outside your work. You have also taken the personal initiative to perform that. Third is that courses and seminars, conferences, training programs, etc., etc. Like often you organize some of the courses within your organization, institution, or you participate in different courses. Similarly, you participate in seminars and conferences by delivering or presenting the papers. You also participate in different training programs. Often you also organize training programs for others, for junior faculty, for new freshers, and from other institutions, etc. So that is the third component. And again fourth is the self directed and informal learning. When we talk about the individual's initiative for his or her career development, professional development, so then in that case he has to be self directed, he has to be a self learner, and all his career plan he has to implement himself, and he has to engage himself in various kinds of and modes of informal learning. So you can say the CPD is both the individual's responsibility as well as the institutional responsibility. So professional education again is concerned with three main aspects of the development. So professional knowledge base, that we have to enhance our professional knowledge base in the specific domain we are working, in the discipline we are engaged in the subject we are teaching, the subject we are practicing. So first is that the professional knowledge base. We have to increase and enhance our knowledge base by updating ourselves, acquiring the different kinds of knowledge, the latest research, latest practice, latest pedagogy. So that is, we have to enhance our knowledge base. The volume of knowledge must be updated, enhanced, and up to date. Second is the competency in professional action. When we actually perform in a job environment, when we actually practice our profession, so we are engaged in, that is professional action, that we are performing. In the process of performing, we are in action. So what are the competencies that we require, we need for that professional practice? So we need to update ourselves, update our competency, our self efficacy, our capabilities for a quality professional action, or the kind of performance we should be engaged in, which must have some significant impact and relevance. Third is the development of reflection, a critical awareness of the context of their practice. Anyway, any kind of profession, whatever we take up, whatever we do, in whichever profession we deliver and work, so it has a particular context. It is very much contextual, be it teaching, be it in engineering, or be it legal practice. It has a specific context, it is embedded in a particular context, it is embedded in a particular situation. Hence we must be very much critically aware of that context, whether, like for example, if we are teaching, whether we are teaching in the classroom situation, face to face context, or we are teaching in a virtual context, or you are teaching to a single child, individual child in a tutorial class, or you are attending a conference or seminar. So what is actually the context of learning? That is also important. Context of learning, context of practice. So we must develop that reflection. Whatever we do, a single bit of action also, we should reflect upon it. It should be followed by the reflective thinking. Hence we have to develop a critical awareness of the context of their practice, in which context we are practicing, in which context we are performing, in which context we are delivering. So then what is the need for continuous professional development? Why do we need it? Now nowadays in 21st century, after globalizations, there is huge competitions. So every action should be followed by research component. Like every action should be based on research findings. So practice being followed by the research findings. So similarly, it should be ongoing. It's updating. It's continuous. It's sustainable. It's not that 10 years back whatever the research finding has said, nowadays we are practicing it. No, it has to be ongoing, it has to be continuous, it has to be research based, because ultimately our focus is how it should our present practice, our present performance, it should focus on not only the small groups of stakeholders, but to the larger audience, for the larger communities also. So that is why the need is that extension of experience in a particular way. So, we have to extend our experience, our competence and ability, etc., beyond certain situation. Now, even if you are used to certain situation like traditional classrooms, or traditional small classrooms, or traditional lecture theatre, etc., etc., if you are, even if you are exposed to that kind of particular kind of situation, but we have to change it. We have to change it into a different context, different situation. So, we have to extend our experiences beyond certain situation, and we have to adapt ourselves to different educational needs, the special educational needs of different kinds of learners, what is their learning styles, and we have to update ourselves by for ICT use in the classroom, ICT use in the teaching, ICT use in the learning. So, it requires a rigorous training, continuous learning, continuous practice. So, extension of experience in a particular way as per the demand of the situation, as per the requirement of the situation. Second is the development of professional knowledge and understanding in the areas like transferable skills, assessment, effective management, etc. So, it is not enough that we have developed, we have expanded our experience, now we are using it in different contexts. It is not just enough, we have to go into the depth of that professional knowledge. We have to go to the depth of that professional underpinnings and understanding of that subject content and its applications, its analysis and implementation in different contexts. So, suppose we have learned and we have upgraded our knowledge, skills, etc., we have expanded our experience, then we have to think of now out of these new acquisitions of knowledge, and what are these transferable skills, which skills can be transferred to others, which skills I am subject to, I am supposed to deliver it, supposed to give it to my students, or I am supposed to make them learn these transferable skills. Then assessment, if I am assessing their performance in a particular classroom situation, then how should I assess? What should be the mode of evaluation? What should be the techniques of assessment? What kind of tools I must be using it? And at the end of this situation, then again effective management of not only the teaching learning situation, the classroom, effective management of the institution, effective management of the total classroom, school environment, college environment, campus activities. So, effective management. So, whenever we are talking about educational leadership, automatically the effective management also comes into it. So, professional development does not mean or does not restrict us only to upgradation of our knowledge, skills and competencies, but to enhance our managerial capabilities also. Second is next is that extension and development of teaching skills in specialized fields. Again, teaching skill. So, teaching skill is not that we have learned the subjects very well, we have updated our knowledge and we have delivered the lectures. No, it is not enough. Teaching skill is not just restricted to only delivering lecture or giving them assignments or classroom assessment, etc. It is beyond that. So, in some specialized field, like suppose whether you are delivering a lecture in a conference, or whether you are delivering the lecture to the professionals, young teachers who have just joined the institution, and to orient them towards the vision, mission and goals of the institution, then again you can address some other group. So, our teaching skill, again we need to develop certain teaching skill, multiple teaching skills to address different audience, different groups in different contexts as per their needs and requirements. It is not that whatever we have learned we have delivered, it is not just like that, but what are their needs. So, that is why from the beginning of any of the orientation program, training program, professional development program, first of all we get to know about the backgrounds of the participants, backgrounds of the audience, their experience, their knowledge. So, from that we just perceive that is whether it is a kind of homogeneous group or heterogeneous group, what is the range of diversity, from which disciplines they are coming. Then again we also ask for their individual aspirations, like individual goals, like what do they like to learn out of it, what are their expectation from this program, from this course, etc. So, we have to extend, we have to develop the teaching skills in different kinds of fields, specialized field for targeting for the different audience. Then developing the skill of writing the policy documents. Again, In this profession in education, to be an effective administrator, to be an effective leader, to be an effective teacher, to be an effective mentor, to be an effective faculty advisor, we also need to develop writing skill. So, writing skill of different writing skills of writing a research paper, then writing the policy documents, again writing the annual report, writing the profile of the organization, even preparing our own career plan, career plan or the action plans, or appraisal form or CV. So, we need, so writing skill it is required in every profession, but in teaching profession, in education especially, we need to develop this writing skill not only for policy documents, for annual report, or for some kind of curriculum, instruction design, or any kind of documented things, but also for even for classroom assignments, even for making the questions, even for assigning the projects, even from for giving the different kinds of designs and the problems to the students. So, for different kinds of purposes, we need to develop this writing skill. So, again institutional, as we have already discussed, institutionally led professional development and self initiated professional development. So, sometimes institution also organize different kinds of professional training programs, teacher education programs, even managerial educational program, training programs, as well as the individual himself, the individual professional himself can take some initiative for his or her own professional development. Now, continuous professional development. So, now we will discuss about some of the aspects of CPD. So, now by this time CPD is it is about enhancing and extending the knowledge, pedagogy and experience. So, as we have already discussed, updating our knowledge, skills, competencies, pedagogy, how to deliver it, how to teach it, etc., pedagogy in which context, then an experience that whatever we have experience, we have learning experiences we have gathered from different kinds of situation, from different kinds of lectures, from different kinds of training programs, etc., and all these three, it helps us in enhancing the effectiveness as a researcher and the teacher. Ultimately, we have to focus on competency, capabilities and effectiveness. Competency is just for that means whatever you have learned, we are just going to use it in our present situation, present work environment. Capabilities, we have to enhance our abilities beyond the present competencies or required competencies. We have to enhance our capabilities for future learning, future action, for future delivery of the things also, and at the end then again it has to be effective. So, competency means competency and capability shows our efficiency, effect, and ultimately it should be effective. So, enhancing, ultimately the goal is enhancing the effectiveness as a researcher and as a teacher, because teaching and research are inseparable, they are complementary and supplementary to each other, because research strengthens our teaching. Through research we innovate new practices, new pedagogy, and by teaching, when we implement it, actually apply it in a particular situation, then again we get the feedback of what are the strengths, weaknesses, where we are failing, how much we are gaining, etc., etc. Again it helps us in giving the feedback for again to be engaged in a new kind of research. So, it also helps us in finding out, identifying the new problem areas, new issues, new challenges, etc., for which we can again carry on our future research. So, again CPD is the process by which academics may explore the existing skill, knowledge and responsibilities. So, we have, first thing is that we may explore existing skills, knowledge and responsibilities and endeavor to maintain it. It is not just that means in our existing profession, in a present profession, in a present work environment, etc., what are the existing skills, knowledge and responsibility we are required to do, we are required to deliver, we are required to perform, we are required to learn and deliver. So, and endeavor to maintain it, we must brush up, we must maintain, we must nurture that existing skills, knowledge and responsibilities. At the same time, we must focus on enhancing those skills. We cannot be complacent with the present knowledge, skills, whatever we have acquired at the moment. No, we cannot be complacent. We have to update slowly and sustainingly. We have to update our things. So, from exploring skills to we have to enhance. to enhance our skills, enhance our competencies, enhance our capabilities, enhance our effectiveness, and ultimately the goal is how these capabilities, competencies can be transferred to the future generation learners, transferred to the students, transferred to the employees, transferred to the staffs, transferred to the freshers. So, and transfer these skills to a variety of situations within the academic community. Even within the academic community, within the educational institution, there are different kinds of kinds of jobs, different kinds of places are there, starting from the administrative responsibility to curriculum designing, assessment, evaluation, co-curricular activities, community development, counseling, parents teacher association. So, different spheres are there and different sectors are there, and we have to transfer these skills to other spheres, to other staff, to the juniors, to other human participants. So, that is it's not so it's here the focus is the CPD is not for acquiring and acquisition of the new knowledge competencies for ourselves, for our own benefit, individual benefit, but to share this knowledge, but to but to enhance, nurture, groom our our fellow colleagues, fellow students, fellow juniors efficiency and ability. So, it is not only by acquiring, then we have to deliver it, we have to groom, we have to nurture, we have to develop others also. So, that is it requires exploring the existing skill, enhancing those skills and transferring these skills to other members engaged in different kinds of activities in a varieties of situations within the academic community. Now, we will just see one of the YouTube video in this context and what it says about CPD.
Professional development is an important aspect in facilitating a teacher's use of any new instructional method or tool to enhance learning in the classroom. However, as stated by Parker and Post, professional development initiatives routinely lack the necessary support and resources to have an effect on teachers and their teaching practice. As an instructional technology coach, we must take into account this fact. Teachers are frequently inundated by many new professional development ideas, the vast majority of which have in the past simply failed to have any significant impact on either instructional practices or student learning. One reason for this failure is that the system for delivering professional development is flawed. The most frequent professional development formats have traditionally been school in-service days, structured workshops, conference attendance, and college courses where teachers are treated as passive learners and recipients of knowledge. Often these methods amount to little more than information dump. There may be good information provided, but if the information were water, these professional development sessions are comparable to the facilitator aiming a fire hose at attendees and spraying them full force for several long hours. In this analogy, attendees would certainly be soaking wet at the conclusion of a training. However, their ability to capture and retain any of that water or knowledge is greatly limited. Another reason why professional development fails is that too often it's planned and conducted based simply on a new idea or a piece of equipment rather than the consequences of its impact on student learning. Thankfully, over the past decade, new approaches to professional development have emerged that views teacher learning as interactive and social, based in discourse and community practice. We have discovered that teacher learning is most relevant when it focuses on teachers' real work in schools with young people and addresses the unique context of their schools. Further, effective professional development engages teachers in the concrete tasks of teaching, assessment, observation, and reflection. Therefore, it was the goal of our team to produce effective professional development that would genuinely enhance teaching and student learning. We knew that incorporating the universal design learning strategies would be an important shift for the educator in terms of facilitating instructional practices that truly meet the individual needs of all students. Our near-term goal was to provide the needed tools for the teacher to implement the UDL strategies and tools in one digital citizenship lesson that we helped develop. This lesson and the technology incorporated was designed to provide both challenge and accommodation tailored to each individual learner. The far-term goal was to equip the educator with the tools and knowledge necessary for this training to make a lasting impact on the development of all future lessons and instruction. We feel confident that the professional development tools and training provided, coupled with ongoing face-to-face support, will produce the desired growth in terms of the educator's ability to implement effective UDL lessons and strategies.
So we need professional development in order to be to be competitive and useful in the workplace, and to update our knowledge and skills and competency through which we can help the learners, the students, the other professionals to cater to their individual needs, their individual needs in different situations. Then again to achieve the institutional goals, institutional objectives. So we need to update ourselves through these different kinds of professional development programs or CPDs, not only to cater to the needs of our stakeholders, to establish a relationship with the community, the whole academic community and beyond that, and to make us useful and competitive in the job market, in the education market. So you can say it addresses not only the individual, fulfilling the individual needs, but also mass teachers needs also. So it's by different practices, by different approaches, by using different tools, by different techniques, etc. So not only we satisfy our own career goals, professional goals, etc., but at the same time we help institutions in achieving the institutional objectives, goals, etc. And all the time the professional development training programs, every time the CPD must have the target of achieving the professional excellence, executing it or implementing these knowledge and skills and competency in our practices, in the actual job, in the performances, and so that we can ensure the effectiveness, we can enhance the effectiveness, and we can be very sure about that it has a positive significant impact on the stakeholders, on the community as a whole, and it helps us in improving the quality of life, because education is the base of life. So through which not only we are focusing on the improvement in our stakeholders, but the whole community and society as well.